All right, so here we're going to invest $1,000 at 0.6%. Oh, for 20 years, wasn't it? Yeah. Sorry, should have said for 20 years. Oh, that's very low. 0.6%. Okay, so that's like some sort of regular savings account in a bank. That's like really low. Huh, anyway, very low. So that's your APR, okay. Compare simple and compound interest. Well, first of all, there's not going to be a whole lot of difference because the interest rate's so low anyway. But just for fun, I'm just going to start out with a little table so we get an idea of what's going on here. And of course, we'll start with simple interest. So after the first, well, initially we've got 1,000, and then after 1 month, simple interest, just get 0.6% of 1,000. Now, see if you can figure that out without me showing you what to do. 0.6% of 1,000. Now, 0.06, I'm just going to walk through that real slow here. A percent by definition is per 100. That's 0.6, write it down, per 100, over 100, right? That's what it is. And just for fun, I'm going to make you all multiply that by 10 over 10. Why? Because you'll see why. You'll see why. You multiply it by 10 over 10 because that gives you, what do you get in the top and bottom? So write that down and give me the answer. Yeah, 6 over 1,000. 6 over 1,000. 0.6 times 10 is 6. Doesn't that make sense, though? You're not confused by that, right? Okay. Write that as a decimal. Yes. 6 thousandths is this as a decimal. By definition, that's what decimals mean. This is the thousandth spot. That's where the thousandths go. Yeah. So 6 thousandths looks like this. Yep. So of means multiply. So we have 0.006 times 1,000. Or in fact, just for fun, that's actually 6 thousandths of 1,000. So number of ways we can understand this. That's 6 thousandths of 1,000 times 1,000 over 1, same thing, right? So we can see it as a decimal, we can see it as a fraction, but the answer has to be what? $6. Yeah, 6. Because the thousands cross cancelled here to give 6. So long story short, we have to make sure we understand that the interest rate of $1,000 and one thing I've messed up here is this should be years, not months. Sorry. Years. So the interest rate in $1,000 at the end of the year is $6. Okay. So this is simple interest, and then the balance. What's the balance after? So this is our simple interest. So what's the balance after 1 year with simple interest? So it's 1,006. We just add on the $6, right? Now, what happens on simple interest after the second year? After the second year on simple interest, what do we do now? We just have 1,012. Why? Because with simple interest, it's just that amount over and over and over. You get the interest on the principal each time. Interest on the principal. Interest on the principal each time. You don't get compound interest. You're not allowed to get interest on top of other interest. So after 3 years, what have you got in simple interest? $1,018. So after 4 years, what do you have? $1,024, because you just keep on adding on $6 at the end of each year. After 5 years, what do you have? Take your time. $1,030. Wasn't it? Okay. So what's the pattern here, and what do we have after 20 years, right? Now, there is a formula for this and everything, but why not? Might as well just go through so we understand what's going on. So what do you have after 20 years? $1,120. Yeah, because you've got your $1,000 plus 20 years of getting $6 each year. 1,000 plus 20 times 6, right? Right? So that's the initial amount, and then 20 years of just getting $6. So after 20 years, you have that, and that's on simple interest, right? Now, compound, you're allowed to get interest on top of interest. So compound interest is different. So initially, year 0, we start with our $1,000. But after year 1, it's you're looking at the same thing. You get 0.6% of 1,000, which is 1,006, isn't it? Right? And so we have 1,006. But what happens in year 2 with compound interest? Now, trying to understand, tell me in normal, easy language, tell me what happens with compound interest after, in year 2. Like, just try to explain what's going to happen. Don't give me numbers and formulas, just what happens? Like, what is compound interest? What does it even mean? That's what I'm looking for here. Okay, so I'll explain. You ready to go? Okay. Compound interest means we don't just keep getting 6%. Simple interest, you're looking at, look, so I can explain. So simple interest was we get the 0.6% of 1,000 each year, and we just add on $6. That's simple. Does that make sense? So compound interest is you're getting interest from. Can you see what I'm doing here? Can you see the paper? Okay. Compound interest means. Now we're just having a discussion. Don't want you to write anything. We're just having a discussion. Compound interest means you're going to get interest of this number, 1,006. Did you know that? Whereas the key point is, in the second year, we're getting, with simple interest, we got interest of 1,000, just 1,000. And that was $6, and we added it on, and we got 1,012. With compound interest, we get this, 0.06% of 1,006. And that's the difference. That explains everything. Simple interest, it's only the initial principal each time that we get interest on. Compound interest, it's whatever was in the account the last go around, the last year, the last month, the last day, whatever you're working with. In this case, it's the previous year. Previous year we had 1,006, so we get the interest of 1,006. That's the difference. See that? 0.06% of 1,000, 0.06% of 1,006. See the difference? That's the difference between compound interest and simple interest. You see it now? Now that's gonna mean a lot for our numbers as we go down the table, right? So let's explore that. So I guess we could just go ahead and get that. 0.06% of 1,006 is, 0.006 times 1,006, which is what? Yeah, 6.036 is basically $6 and almost 4 cents. It's almost no difference because in simple interest we got this, but here we're getting 6.036. So it seems like it's not a big deal, but in time it will be a big deal. Right, but that's the only difference. Look, it's a tiny bit more after the end of this year compared to that. Can you see that? Right, but then, so we need to add, we've got $1,006 already, and this is our interest. And so what our balance should be at the end of the second year is the 1,006 plus this, so 1,012.036, right? Right? And that's different than 1,012, just a bit more. Now the third year, you can keep going. But the trick is to get an actual formula out of this, to get a strategy, to get some sort of formula out of this. What we need to do is we need to say that to get this, so we'll go back to the first year. To get 1,006, do you know what can you multiply 1,000 by to get 1,006? Do you know? 1,000 times what's going to give us 1,006? 1,000 times 6 is $6,000. So that's not true at all. It's way off. All right, no. So that's why I did like a whole. I put a day aside to try to figure this one out. Would it surprise you that it's this? Does that make sense? That times that would give that? No, because it's like it's 1,000. You see. Times 1 plus 1,000 times 0.006. It's the principal plus the interest. The principal plus the interest. See that? And it's the same thing as multiplying the whole thing by just 1.006. It'll just give that, won't it? Look, so if I do that, so it's 1,000 times 1.006. Boom, there's the answer, right? Now that's the key. If we can understand that, we can start to use this. Because in the second year, we had. In fact, I need to get some more paper here. Let me move this over. See, it's frustrating too because it's like we're trying to find easy examples that make sense, and yet they become this strain. This is not supposed to be a strain. This is supposed to be, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. And that's what's frustrating me. This is not supposed to be frustrating. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Anyone knows how to teach this better, let me know. Okay, $1,000 is what we started. We're going for the end of the second year, right? Now, the end of the first year was that, wasn't it? That's what we should have after the end of the first year, no? What happens if I multiply it by this again? I'll get the same thing back with the 1, and I'll get the 0.06% as well. What does that look like? 1,000 times 1.006 times 1.006. What's that going to give? Which is exactly what we need, isn't it? Right? So, can you use some math, use an exponent, and give me an easier way to write this? To the power of 2, because there's 2 of them there. So after the third year, we started, so we're on to the third year, right? So we started with $1,000. And then to get what's in there after the first year, to get the 1,006, we multiply by what? What do we multiply? 1,000 times what gives 1,006? Okay, 1,000 times 3 is $3,000. 1,000 times what gives 1,006? Okay, I'll say it again. It's 1.006. 1,000 times 1.006 gives 1,006, doesn't it? Yeah. But so that's the first year. And if I multiply it by this, I get the second year, don't I? And if I multiply it by that again, I get the third year, right? So we have 1,000 times 1.006 to the power of 3, right? And so on and so forth, and whatever that is. And in the calculator, you know, that just looks like this. It's just like 1,000 times 1.006 to the power of 3, right? Okay. So anyway, like, it's the compound interest formula. Just hoping that we go through this and understand it rather than memorizing. But anyway, so that's what is in the calculator. 1,000 times 1.006 to the power of 3, and that's 118.11 pretty much, right? 1018.11, right? Now, what was in the account with simple interest after year 3? What do we have in the account with simple interest after the end of year 3? Yeah, I'm upset with myself for not explaining this properly. Anyway, year four, right? We're doing compound interest. Go ahead and figure out what's in the account at the end of year 4. Alright, so we did 1,000 times 1.006 to the power of 4, and in the calculator it looks like this. And that's, we'll give it to the nearest cent. And I'm just going to use my 1,000 times 1.006 to the power of 4, and I get 1024.22, we'll say, rounded to the nearest cent, right? Okay, so tell me about year 4 with the simple and compound interest. What happened? What's the difference? Right, so we have a little bit more in the account. Yeah, so the interest is $24.22. The total amount is $1,024.22. But the point is, we've got 20. I don't want to be saying it. You tell me. How much more is in the account? 22 cents. There's 22 cents more here. Can we see that? Like, it's right there. 22 cents. 22 cents. It's not there. That's the difference. There's 22 cents. Why is there 22 cents more here? Why? That's all right. Because we're getting interest on top of interest, right? No, let me start with